Two of President Trump's top foreign policy officials, Special Envoy to the Middle East Steve Witkoff and U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee, made a rare visit to Gaza on Friday as international outrage intensifies over starvation in the region. Their stated mission? To assess conditions on the ground and help craft a plan to deliver urgently needed food and medical aid, as the United Nations reports that more than 20,000 children in Gaza have been hospitalized for acute malnutrition since April. And now, the pressure on Israel is growing, not just from advocacy organizations, but from key allies. Canada, France, and the United Kingdom are all advancing plans to formally recognize a Palestinian state, with diplomatic action expected as early as September. Even former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert recently wrote, this is back in May, "Enough is enough. Israel is committing war crimes." And joining us now is former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Olmert. Thank you very much for coming to the weekend, Mr. Prime Minister. As I said, in May, you wrote an op-ed that said Israel is committing war crimes. This is now August 2nd. Things have gotten much worse in the region. Can you talk about how you are viewing things now and why? I mean, genocide is a war crime. Lots of people have been accusing Israel of genocide. Is that what you are referring to when you say that the nation is committing war crimes?
No, absolutely not. There is no genocide. There is not anything even close to genocide. What I said, and I think it hasn't changed, unfortunately, is that the war is perceived to be completely illegitimate, not just by the outside observers, the countries that you mentioned, like most of the Israelis. More than 70% of the Israelis just yesterday said in a poll, which is consistent with many other polls that were done over the last few months, that there is nothing that can be achieved in this military operation. We are losing soldiers. We may lose the hostages. And there are many innocent, non-involved Palestinians in Gaza which are losing their life in what is perceived to be an illegitimate war. Illegitimate at this stage, the war is a crime. And that's what I meant. And I haven't changed my mind because I don't see yet that the government of Israel is prepared to understand that enough is enough. We have to end the war immediately. We have to bring back all the hostages, and we have to embark on a serious effort with Arab countries, Palestinians and Arab countries, to establish a security force that will take the place of Israel in Gaza, that will allow Israel to pull out completely from Gaza, and that will prevent any further activities by Hamas, terror activities against Israel, and start to change things in Gaza. That's what we need to do now.
Mr. Prime Minister, Sam Stein here. You might not be able to achieve some things in this war, but you certainly can lose things in this war. And among the things that can be lost, in addition to the horrific suffering that you're seeing there, is political support from the United States. I'm going to give you two statistics, and I want your reaction to them. The first was a vote this past week, a Senate resolution from Senator Bernie Sanders to cut off about $650 million in aid from the U.S. to Israel. Only 27 senators supported it, but that's a record number. That's half of the Democratic caucus. The second data point is a poll from the Gallup organization. It showed that support for Israel's military action in Gaza among 18 to 34-year-olds was 9%. That's paltry. Nothing polls that low. How worried are you that there is being irreparable damage done to the U.S.-Israeli relations that will take generations to repair by Benjamin Netanyahu?
Well, I entirely agree with. I don't have the figures, the exact figures that you have just now outlined, but yes, I'm very concerned. I'm very worried. This is what I've been saying a long time ago when I started to call for demand the end of the war more than a year ago, a lot more than a year ago, when I figured out that we have reached what we can do in a military operation. We can have to try and accommodate in order to bring back the hostages and end this military operation. Yes, we are losing the support. You mentioned before the criticism of such friendly nations as Canada, Great Britain, and France. I'm in favor of a Palestinian state and a two-state solution. I've been fighting for it. I've been campaigning for it. I've proposed it when I was prime minister. One thing which I'm not certain about is that it should be presented as a punishment to the state of Israel. This is not a punishment for the state of Israel and should be presented as such. It shouldn't be presented as such. This is the only possible political solution that will do good for Palestinians and Israelis. And that is the context in which it has to be presented. But yes, I'm very much afraid of what happens. And fundamentally, which is what really scares me, is not only that we lose the support of the United States, first and foremost, we lose the basic commitment, our basic commitment to the most fundamental values of compassion and of compromise and of peace that were representing the state of Israel for generations. We are losing what some people call the soul of Israel, and this is what scares me a lot.
Mr. Prime Minister, you know, there was an embargo on humanitarian aid for months, and they've started to allow some of that in, but 1,300 people have been killed while seeking food, and that's according to the UN. Why do you think Benjamin Netanyahu has not allowed more humanitarian access? Because when folks look at the starvation and using, in a lot of people's eyes, starvation as a tool of war, that is where they feel it is a genocide.
Look, I'm not certain that we can accept the figures of people that were killed and who was responsible for the killing, as they are said. I'm not sure about it. But it doesn't.
This is from the UN, the United Nations.
Yeah, okay. The United Nations, there are many events which are taking place in the sites of the humanitarian supplies, which are triggered by the Hamas provocations because they want to get a hold of the supplies. I'm not certain about the numbers, but this is not essential. We are the power there, and therefore we have to make all the necessary efforts to provide the humanitarian needs without any interference in the most effective manner. If it's not done, this is our responsibility. How many were killed, I'm not certain that the numbers are correct. But again, what I think is that it doesn't have to happen. And I'm afraid, and this is part of what many people here in Israel say, and this is very important that you guys and also that the international community will understand, that the millions of Israelis are against the policies which are now taken care of by the Israeli government. We are against these policies. We are against starvation. We are in favor of providing the necessary humanitarian supplies to all the people there. We are not fighting millions of Palestinians. We are fighting Hamas, and there is a good reason to fight Hamas for what they did and what they committed and the perpetration of atrocities that they are responsible for, which started the whole thing. But we're not fighting 2.2 million people that live there, and this is our responsibility to make sure that while we fight Hamas, we don't hit these people.
Mr. Omer, we have less than a minute left, but I have to ask you this question. You stated earlier that you are now in favor of a two-state solution, and that talk now from Canada and European countries of recognizing a Palestinian state shouldn't be presented as a punishment for Israel. And I bring this up because I wonder, given what has happened to Gaza, who would be the trusted partner to get to a Palestinian state? Who should the Israelis negotiate with to make that happen?
First of all, it's not that now I'm in favor of two states. As a Prime Minister of Israel in 2008, I presented a comprehensive peace plan on the basis of two states to the Palestinian president, and unfortunately at that time, including as part of my plan, that the Arab side of Jerusalem will be the capital of the Palestinian state, and many other important elements. And the Palestinians didn't have the courage and the leadership to accept it at that time. So I'm in favor, and many Israelis in favor of a Palestinian state since then. Now, the only possible partner for negotiations ought to be the Palestinian Authority. They have to change. They have to reform. They are ineffective. They are weak. They many things, including Palestinians, that they are corrupt. They have to change, but I am responsible for my side. So I think we have to change. We have to address ourselves to deal with the Palestinian Authority, and the policy of Netanyahu is against it, unfortunately.